Hi, good evening. It's Sunday 8th of June 2025. Sorry about the glitchy start. It's actually really tricky to move from one platform to another when it comes to doing the live streams. And sometimes I screw up. Anyway, it looks like we're holding steady at the moment. I noticed some fellow from Texas was here earlier, born on an eclipse, I believe. Jody, hey. Yeah, sorry about the screwed up start. Hi, Jody. Anyway, it's been a while, so I thought I'd just go live here Sunday night like we used to do many years ago. Well, not many years ago, but years ago during the TarotLumination YouTube heyday. I can still do it. As you can see, we're here, we're actually live. The thing is, nobody really knows we're here anymore. Do you want a mini reading, Jody? Are you looking for a mini reading? You know the routine. I'm going to explain it for folks who may be just watching for the first time ever. So what I do here is I do live mini tarot readings. I've been doing this for a long time. I've done thousands of readings. And it's just another night. So basically what happens, I'll just show you. It's easier if I just show you. There's TarotLumination.com. It's the website. You can go there on any device, and then you can scroll over to the donate page, scroll to the donate button, click that, and that's how you make your donation. Pretty straightforward. It opens up a payment processor, and it goes through PayPal, but I don't think you have to have a PayPal account. You can just scroll using a credit or debit card. It's just like regular online shopping. That's all it is. All I ask is that you give a nice like comment if you like the show and you get some value out of the show. Tell your friends and family, spread it around, and so on. Also, donations within your means, but also I feel like I provide a valuable service, so the more the merrier. Anyway, over here, where was I? Oh yeah. Over the years, I decided to create my own tarot spreads because there's thousands of readers on YouTube now and everywhere else. And when I first started, there were far fewer readers, and I was very uncomfortable using all the traditional spreads that everybody learns when they're learning to do tarot and before they provide tarot service readings and so on, because they just were not delivering the results that I would have demanded myself from a tarot card reader. So I created my own spreads. I really only have 3 spreads. I have my situational spread, which is what I use here on the live mini readings. And then I have my relationship spread, which of course was very popular in the heydays, because a lot of people they want insight and understanding about what the hell's going on in their personal life, love and relationships, basically, marriages, business partners, divorces, enemies, whatever it is. And then the other spread I have is more like my heart spread, which is about your own life journey, your spiritual path on this earth, and so on. It's a more personal, deep dive type of spread. But anyway, those are the three spreads. So tonight I'm just using the situational spread. If you want to think of it, it's like a diagnostic tool. I try to say this every time. It's like a little black box. You go over to your auto technician. Let's say you're living your life. Let's say you are a car. Let's say you're living your life and the dashboard is screaming out with little orange and red lights. Check engine light. Check engine soon. And so you get a little bit uncomfortable, a bit scared, so you go over to your auto technician and tell them my red lights and orange lights are flashing. What's wrong? And then they come out, they bring a little black box with a few wires, they plug it in under your dashboard. It reads inside the computer about all the shenanigans going on inside your car, and then after a while it gives a readout and it tells you, oh, it's your mass air sensor. Oh, the oxygen reader on your gasoline tank is miscalibrated. Oh, the catalytic converter is screwed up. Oh, your fuel sensors are, anyway, whatever it is. Like on an average car today, there's at least, 60, maybe about 60 sensors that are needed to keep the car running. In the old days, they didn't have any sensors. It was just all mechanical, but now it's all electronic. It's very, very tricky to fix. So anyway, think of this little reading here tonight is getting your own diagnostics using the little black box. Okay? You've got to reveal it to heal it. Let's say you go to a doctor. I don't know what's going wrong with me. I don't know what happened to me. I just feel awful, blah, blah, blah. I got this. My arm's falling off. I can't breathe. I can't see. I don't know. I feel terrible. I need drugs. Give me some drugs. Oh, no, it's illegal. But I don't know what to do. And they give you a diagnosis. They take your blood. They do your blood pressure. They do a deep dive on your blood work. They test your, they put the stethoscope. They tell you to stand up. They tell you to sit down. They test your lymph nodes, whatever they have to do. They look in your nose, in your ears. They look at your mouth, everything. What the hell's going on? And then they tell you, oh, you've got condition A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here's what we're going to do to fix you. But they can't really help you unless they know what the problem is. That's all we do here. That's all it is. And when people end up at this little show, it's because it's just random, or it's by divine ordinance, or they've been seeking something like this, but they didn't know what it is or where to go or how to get it, and they just happen to end up here by divine intervention. And that, believe it or not, is the most common way that people get here. Hold on, excuse me. Oh my God, my itch. Sorry. Okay, let's have a look. I'm just going to do a routine checkup here. So, for example, so anyway, I hope you understand how the like the reasoning behind the tarot readings themselves, and what to expect and what not to expect. So here's another thing that happens with these types of tarot readings. It's really important that you have get as much clarity as possible. Yeah, you're good, Jody. You're good. Thank you very, very much. You're very kind. to get as much clarity as possible, you don't have to know the details of your situation. You don't even have to understand it, or don't even have words. Sometimes the most valuable readings that I do are completely blind, and you just trust the process. In other words, hey, TarotLumination, what messages do you have for me tonight regarding my life? And it's just that simple. Sometimes people want something more specific. Hey, TarotLumination, what messages do you have for me tonight regarding my finances, or my employment, or my health, or my romance, or my children, or my pet, or my career, or my purpose in life, or why things are going wrong, my love life, my marriage, my business, whatever it is, okay? Hey, Gregory. Jody, we're good. I got it. We're there. Thank you very much. I've been trying, Gregory. Doing the best we can, just like everybody else. I'm no different, and just because I do astrology and tarot readings doesn't mean that I'm not impacted. I observe, and because I observe these things, I feel I have a little bit of an edge, because it's like I can navigate. I'm not exactly a storm chaser in terms of astrology. I don't look for trouble. I'm not trying to go into the heart of the storm. I'm just observing from a very, very, very far away, as if I have my own space station, you know? Hold on, I gotta check the chat here. There's stuff going on. I didn't realize there was so much chatter here going here. Okay, let's have a look. Hello, Gregory. Yeah, hello, Jody. Right there. Yeah. Follow me on X. Oh, thank you. I can't tell. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know I don't even know how to find out if anyone's following me on X. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Forget about it. Okay. Rewind. Well, one thing for clarity. Thank you. Thank you, Jody. Got your donation. We're good to go. So you're going to get a live mini reading tonight. All right. Yeah. So one of the other things that often happens, especially for newbies who come over here, you've probably, I don't know, when people start thinking I better get a tarot reading, it's because they're starting to get curious about things like, hello, Karen. The mystical arts, astrology, yoga, tarot readings, spirituality. I used to have a huge library of beautiful books all about that stuff, but I have a pretty nomadic existence, and I have a very, very slender hold on physical reality on this planet. So not a lot of stuff sticks to me. But I hope something valuable stays in here from all the reading and study and homework that I've done over the years, especially regarding tarot and astrology, but also all of those healing arts. Anyway, what often happens is that some people have very high expectations of their tarot readings or their astrology readings, and they just want an answer, like a yes or no answer, like, when is my boyfriend coming back? Okay, that's asking me to predict time and predict the future. And what's the other one? Anything that has, when people come in asking questions with a yes or no answer, asking questions that demand a yes or no answer. Does my best friend still love me, even though we had a falling out? Yes or no. It's not a very productive or useful way to do tarot readings, because you're forcing the tarot reading to give a simple yes or no answer. And usually there's no such thing as a yes or no answer. The issue is just revealing what is the situation, understanding the nature of the situation, and then suggesting avenues for healing. I gotta check up on the chat here. So, thank you, Jody. Okay. Oh, thank you, Gregory. All right. All right. Okay, so I hope nobody minds, but I just wanted to do a little bit of a promo thing. Some of you might know I am active now on the other platform, RUMBLE. YouTube shut me down on any video where I posted a link to the other platform. So I don't talk about it anymore. But anyway, hello, Maria. Maria, if I recall, you were my very, 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 very first subscriber. What was it, 7 or 8 years ago? The mystical arts. Love Triber knows about the mystical arts. A lot of you do who come here anyway. Half of you are already healers, mystical healers or some kind anyway. Some of you are artists. Some of you do your own readings and so on. Love Triber does cartomancy based on traditional Las Vegas style gambling cards. Kings, whatever it is, clubs, spades, diamonds, hearts. It's like a clock. It's very handy. It's very useful. So anyway, Karen down there in lovely, beautiful New Zealand. Oh my God, I miss New Zealand so much. I don't know when or if I'll ever get back there, but Karen, if I get back there, and when I get back there, I'm going to go and see you, give you a big hug. All right? So, over there in New Zealand, I know you have some strange things going on there recently. You had a complete 100% blackout on internet and phones and all of those things. That's pretty scary. And I read something else. There was some justice. Remember years ago, that horrible thing that happened in Christchurch? Not the earthquakes, but the killings. It looks like there's justice coming now for the New Zealanders. That's good. Very happy about that. The thing about New Zealand, I think most New Zealanders know that they're very, very vulnerable to being, let's say, I don't know, used, abused, manipulated by other players across the world, whether it's United States or China or Japan or something or a big corporation or politicians or something like that. And so I really hope that you continue to keep your borders really, really tight and maintain very strict control on any type of goods, products, services coming into New Zealand that could translate into an infection that destroys your agriculture, your cows, your sheep, and all of that. Because you're vulnerable. It's one of the most beautiful places on earth. I love it there. The climate, the nature, the people, all of it. But you're very vulnerable. Elaine. Hello, Elaine. Hello, we're doing live mini tarot readings. I've got 2 bookings already. I could probably handle 1 more. All right. So before we go there, I just wanted to share something about the other platform, RUMBLE. I'm active there. It's a tiny channel, and it's showing signs of growth. And there's a way you can make direct donations. You can become a monthly member, and so on. So I'm trying to grow that thing. It's very difficult, but I keep going anyway. And on that platform, I talk very freely and openly and share my opinions. I make it very clear about where I stand. and I focus mostly on the global astrology, and I don't do any of the tarot readings. So if you want to enjoy that other side of who I am and what I do, please go visit TarotLumination on the other platform, RUMBLE. So, just to give you a glimpse, I'd like to show you what I just did a couple of hours ago. So, a couple of hours ago, I did a little show just for the archives, for the records, because I do it every day pretty much, and I make an astrodoodle. This is what my astrodoodles look like. This is a very historic astrodoodle, and it's going to continue to be this way over the next week or two. Why? It's because of these little orange circles. These little orange circles represent points of desperation, crisis, chaos. This one will fizzle soon, but this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, they're all at points of critical mass. And when we reach those types of astrological lineups, it often translates into our experience of things like chaos, confusion, desperation, just instability. It puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the planet itself. Okay, over here, tremendous pressure on planet Earth itself. Volcanoes, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, hail, droughts, sandstorms, blizzards, landslides, avalanches, ocean pollution, lake pollution, river pollution, extreme heat, extreme cold, all happening in ways that seem very irregular and chaotic and frightening. That's just one example. Over here, this is the example of WAR, war. It's a very big topic in global headlines right now, and I'm sad to hint that I believe it's going to get worse. This crisis degree with Mars in Leo getting very close to 29.5 degrees, it's just going to get worse. You can think about riots, you can think about Russia, Ukraine, you can think about Iran, Israel, all of that. You can think about China, basically war, okay? Think all the crazy stuff over there in LA and so on. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, otherwise I get in trouble on this platform. But anyway, that's what it looks like. Crazy stuff. So if you want to follow on with this, please come and visit me on the other platform and subscribe and become a member and donate with the rants. By the way, tonight, if you really, really like this show and you want to financially say, opening new, you're on a roll, Karen. All right, that's it. So I'm going to mark up tonight 3 readings, okay, folks? Let me do it right now, and that's the most I can handle because my voice won't even last that long. Well, it will last long, but I won't have anything else. I can handle 3 readings tonight, and that's it. Okay, so we have... where did I go? I'm lost. I'm completely lost. I'm already completely lost. Jody. All right. Thank you. We got Gregory. Thank you. And we got Karen. Thank you. That's it. Okay, so we're booked up. Do not do super chat. Okay? If you want to, express kindness and send money and donations and stuff, do it just like I described on my own website over here. This is the only safe way to do it. If you do super chats, I will never receive the funds. Okay? That's sadly the way it works for me now on YouTube. So, Let's begin. All right. So I'm going to get rid of the astrodoodle, put it aside, and we're going to start doing our tarot readings live. All right, here we go. So brace yourselves, people. You might want to put out a little alert to your invisible friends, your angels, your guardians, your loved ones from the other side, your protectors, your spirit guides, all of that. Okay? Summon them all in, and we'll get rolling. Jody, you're up. I'm not taking any more readings, Jay, sorry. I'm already booked up. I can only handle 3 tonight. I'm sorry. It's already booked. You can come during the week if you want to. Jay, if you're really interested, you can go to TarotLumination.com just like I showed, and you can connect with me directly, and we can arrange something during the week if you want. I can do a little private mini reading and send it to you, okay? But not tonight. Right, cards are well shuffled in advance. I was doing that during the beginning of the show. And so we're pretty much good to go. And Jody, I didn't see any really obvious notes, so we're going to just go blind, all right? What kind of messages do we have for Jody tonight regarding ... I'm doing a very extreme cut, so I have a really pristine deck. All right, we have, here's the situation, here's the challenges, and here's how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at external influences. Of course, I almost always default to the planets, but it could be something else. But I usually sense that when we get into it. Just remember, for the whole of planet Earth and our solar system right now, this is what it looks like according to TarotLumination. Don't be scared. All right, external influences. We have the 8 of Swords. So, my feeling is, the way I'm interpreting things right now, is that you're feeling the pressure from the planets without necessarily knowing that the planets are having such a profound influence. For most people, we just get up, live our lives, go to bed, repeat, repeat, repeat. But there are certain periods in time, in history, where we get very, very intense episodes like this, okay? And it affects everybody whether we like it or know it or not. And what okay, bear with me, Jody, or anyone else who's watching. The way I look at it is this. See all those swords? Those represent challenges from, let's say, 8 celestial bodies. You know, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Okay, let's just say 8 entities out there. Pick your entities. And all those influences are challenging, and they're all happening simultaneously. And what it can do is create this feeling of a very, very... Okay, well, that's sort of what we're doing here. Okay, Jody, I see your notes there. Okay. So with the 8 of Swords, just let me go over here visually. I have to do it this way, sorry. So what I'm sensing is that the 8 of Swords is like this almost invisible energy field surrounding you, where you're living your life and just being Jody, but in the background, at the level of the, let's say, there's body, mind, heart, and soul. When you get down to the heart and soul levels, there's more of a feeling of oh, like almost like a numbness, or where, I don't know if you've ever witnessed very tragic, sudden, chaotic, traumatic events, like a big car crash or something like that. But what often happens is people just sort of take a pause and they're like, and they're just, it's not numbness, but things become so profound that you actually have to take a moment. You can't just kind of go, oh, bad car crash, okay. So anyway, that's what I'm trying to hint. What I'm hinting is that you're under this influence just like everybody and anyone else, but it affects you in your own personal way. All right, so the situation itself, life path, okay? So in astrology, if we were talking about life path, I'd be looking at your north node right now, but I don't have that info. So anyway, so situation is right now is that it makes me feel like you're on a really serious roll for learning, a deep desire for learning, want to advance, grow, expand, become more fluent, conversant, more in tune with the life force, which is ultimately love. At its purest form, it's the essence of the healing power of love. And how does that work? How does this stuff work? How do these words work? Let's say you read 10 amazing books all about spirituality, life's journeys, healing, remote viewing, energy healing, Reiki, psychic events, and so on, and it becomes more and more appealing. That would be like a positive feedback loop. Like it's almost like the more you learn, the more you desire to learn, because you realize this is really beautiful. Who wouldn't want to know and understand this energy and how it actually works? So you can, instead of living life blind, you're actually very consciously living, being aware that you're permanently swimming in an energy field that's essentially love. Okay? And then it's just a question of how do I navigate? What does that feel like? How do I interpret that? It's like learning to fly a fighter jet, you know? It's not easy. But if you just keep at it every day, practice, then it becomes almost like second nature. And then your spiritual energy frequencies gradually start to rise and rise and rise and rise and rise and rise. And any time you reach a kind of plateau, it's very easy to kind of go, wow, I did it. I'm now spiritually evolved. I can chill. And then the energy field goes, ooh. And then you start to feel like shit. And you think, well, wait a minute, what happened? What just happened? I'm on a spiritual quest. I'm already like a level 4 yogi. I've already done all my training with Reiki. What just happened? Man, it's not fair. It's because in reality, Jody, the journey never stops. It never ever stops. Constantly raising your frequencies to become more and more and more in tune with the healing power of love. It's infinite, okay? What are the challenges here? You've got a North Node Aquarius. Oh, what fun! All right, so the challenges are, like I said, I've got a six of Swords here. So to me, it looks really, really simple. In that, Love Triber might have a lot to say about this stuff. It's about shedding. Okay. Let's just say these 8 swords here represent a vast array of issues, challenges, concepts, beliefs, thoughts, habits, behaviors that are representative of the status quo in your life. And you're starting to realize that everything is changing. Everything is changing, okay? Ding! And then with the 6 of Swords, it means like, oh my God, does this mean I'm going to have to jettison? Yeah, it means you're going to have to jettison anything and everything that's not working. Basically, downsize, stripping down your life only to the essentials, okay? Essentials. It's tricky to do because when you, let's say, offload, you become lighter and lighter and lighter, and then you become more buoyant, and then you start to see and sense and feel things that you never noticed before. And so it can be very disorienting. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the disorientation of spiritual evolution? Because it can be extremely disorienting, okay? Okay, with the Judgment card here, what it feels like to me is that really you kind of know this and understand the concept already, but putting it into practice is a whole other thing. You already know, I think intellectually you understand exactly what we're talking about here, but doing it is another thing, because it's actually, for a lot of people, our whole sense of identity is locked up into, for example, our traumas, our experiences, all the things that are bad that happen. If you hang out with people for a while, like you're at a bar or a club or something, that you don't know them too well, they often start talking about, oh, well, what was your worst car crash? Or what was your worst relationship? And then it turns into a whole scene of stories about all the horrible things that happened in your life, with not a lot of emphasis on what good happened. And then, so we identify with our failures, our losses, our pain, and our suffering. And then when you start offloading problems and causes and reasons for pain and suffering, it feels very, very weird. A lot of times people can't do it. They would rather hold on to their problems because that's their sense of identity. When you strip your problems away, it's just like, no, I don't know who I am without my problems. But believe me, the Judgment card is sending here a very, very loud message. Believe me, it's liberation, it's freedom. You must, in order to proceed, it's you who are liberating yourself from yourself. I don't know if that makes sense, but when you're looking at it this way, in very subtle ways, you know you can be your own worst enemy. We all are in some ways, but how do we deal with that? We have to acknowledge it, realize it, and understand that releasing toxic behaviors or stressful situations, dysfunctional relationships, outmoded lifestyles, attitudes, beliefs, it has to go, okay? And that translates into liberation and freedom. And that feels really good. And especially if you have an Aquarius North Node, it's going to be fantastic. All right. Because Aquarius, of course, is all about freedom. Ultimate freedom. Strings and things. Greetings. All right. Bubba? Uh-oh, Bubba's here. Hold on. Hey, Bubba. Oh, I'm going to get you some ice water. Okay, hold on. I got to put the cards away. I'm going to have to play a little bit of music or one of my songs or something. Gregory, you're up next, okay? Put that over here. So I'm going to shuffle up things over here a little bit. And let me see. Well, I am going to play a little tune while I get Bubba sorted out here. I was hoping he would be in a food coma, and he's been in a food coma. Hold on, let me just check. Hold on, I pressed the wrong buttons here. Ouch, what am I doing? Oh gosh, sorry, hold on, give me a second. What did I just do? I have so many freaking buttons and softwares that I have to manage in order to do these little shows. It gets sometimes very confusing. So forgive me. Alright, so give me a second here. Come on, my little computer. My computer's getting very old. Okay, bear with me. Should be good for a while. We'll see what happens, so bear with me. Gregory, you're up. You're a very kind man, sir. Thank you. Let me just say hello. Greetings. I hope you're doing well. I guess the snow has melted by now over there in sunny Santa Fe. I hope you don't have too many crazy things like riots and stuff, okay? Oh, hold on, Jody, what's that? It was a very esoteric, spiritual type of reading. You might feel it very much on the intellectual level, rather than an emotional level. I mean, with all those swords and everything. But don't worry. And we can follow up another time, however you want to do it. Now, for anybody out there watching, I'm already booked for 3 readings tonight. That's really all I can handle these days. So if you want personal tarot services or even astrology, you can come over here. Okay. You can go to TarotLumination.com. And you can just connect with me, and then you can schedule your readings or whatever it is. You can do payments and donations through the site and everything. It's very simple, very straightforward, and I love doing this. I like helping, okay? And, you know, it can be very illuminating. That's why we do this. It's all about the revealings. It's all about the revealing for the healing. You got to reveal it to heal it. It's really simple. Anyway, Gregory's an expert. He knows all about this stuff. Actually, pretty much everybody who ever comes here, half the people who come here are healers, tarot readers, Reiki operators, yogis, psychics, and so on. Artists, remote viewers, remote energy healers, and so on. Anyway, that's great. Let's move on. We got a reading to do. And where are we? Gregory. Okay, we're going to read for Gregory now. Brace yourselves. You know what to do. I like to conjure up the feeling of a campfire. Remember the early days of TarotLumination? And we were going to grow a massive subscriber base. I was going to make plenty of money, enough to afford a retreat, build a retreat, maybe in America, especially in New Zealand. And then every couple of months we'd have a lottery type of thing, tickets, and some lucky winner would end up coming to the retreat and hang out and stay. We'd have barbecues and cookouts and all sorts of energy healing and beautiful nature and campfires. Whoa. I'm just asking you to kind of do that in your mind now. That's all, okay? All right, so here we go, Gregory. Brace yourselves. You know what to do. You get your invisible friends, your loved ones from the great beyond, even your archangels, all of it. Your spirit guides, all of it. All right, here we go. I don't do jumpers, flyers. I'm not doing oracles tonight or anything. It's just pure tarot. All right, Gregory, you know the drill. Here we go. Brace yourself. What kind of messages do we have here for Gregory tonight regarding his life, his world, health, friends, family, love, money, career, whatever it might be? Oh, come on, you slippery little cards. There's a rogue card in the deck. I saw it. I'm going to have to clear it out. Give me a second. Where are you? I'm pretty sure. Where did he go? Give me a second here. There you are. Ha, you little mischief. How did that happen? I don't know. Shuffling. Hey, Love Triber, thanks for doing backup. Oh no, what's that? Another rogue? What the hell's going on? Gregory, I have no idea what's going on here. It's the second rogue card. It's never happened before. I don't know what I did. Let's keep going. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of shuffling, to make everything really pristine and reset to zero. That's how you get your best readings. All right, now we're good. Thank you very much for your patience. Okay. All right. All right, here we go. All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. Going forward, let's have a look at external influences, okay? You were here earlier, Gregory, so you saw my chart. This is my astrodoodle. This is historic. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, of course, you've never seen anything like my astrodoodles, but I'm talking about the astrology itself, where we have all these multiple crisis points simultaneously. Yep. So that affects everybody, but in different ways, different people, different ways. Okay, let's have a look. So we have temperance here. Okay, I think the message is really that it's almost like this is a healing moment, and you know it, and it's probably been building for a long time in a very kind of, part of it's very precise. You know exactly what's going on in your life. You know, for example, like a lot of people, after a certain time, you start to learn the exact details of how and why you've inadvertently become your own worst enemy. And then you realize, oh my God, I need help. I need doctors. I need to do this. I need to sort out my finances, my business, my career, whatever it is. But ultimately, it can be helpful to have a reading from like myself, for example. But ultimately, you end up having to be your own healer. And then you come to that expression. I'm sure you've heard that before. Healer, heal thyself. Remember, Gregory, in your own way. Remember, audience, dear audience, Gregory and I have worked together a lot over the years, and it's been an amazing journey, okay? So, with the Temperance card here, it makes me feel like this is something that's been building up for a long time, and it's reached a point of critical mass. You know it. And it's not like it's devastating or anything like that. It's just very deep, very subtle, very profound, and irrevocable. Okay? And so it's like, it's just like, oh God. I'm going to try and express it like this. The way I'm feeling it is that it's a beautiful energy. The Temperance is just about, rebalancing and bringing yourself back into harmony with yourself. The thing is, let's say this represents a scale of balance, of love and harmony, being an instrument of the healing power of love. Remember, you, Gregory, have been a very, very powerful, very effective instrument of the healing power of love by devoting huge amounts of your time and energy and resources to helping other people who really had no one else who could help them. So it's almost like a mission, and you do it anyway, and knowing that you're facing enormous obstacles, fierce opposition, and sometimes damage to yourself. But there's this profound need for justice and goodness in this world, deep in your heart, and you already have it, you own it, but others deserve it too. And so you have that aspect of kindness and empathy and compassion with other people, especially other people who are hurting. And that's been part of your history as far as I understand. But in the process, you're living your own life. And so in the process, you're sort of like a healer yourself, just with a different format, a different modality, okay? I'm not a doctor, all right, but I've sort of helped people with their own healing from a metaphysical point of view, like with astrology and tarot, for example, or psychic work or something like that. But in your case, it's like it's time for Gregory now. Let's say these are the scales and these are the balances of, like, let's just say you've devoted so much of your time and energy to directly or indirectly, inadvertently, but maybe unconsciously providing healing to others. And in so doing, it got so out of balance that you kind of neglected yourself. And in order to continue at this level of imbalance, you had to lean on various forms of self-support to keep you going. But those were, temporary or adequate at best. And what the Temperance card is saying right now, it's time for you, Gregory. It's like healer, heal thyself. Okay? And it seems like a very simple, loud, profound, straightforward message. Easy for me to say. Okay? All right. All right, so that's the Temperance. That's what's going on in the background. Ultimately, with everything going on in your life and your world and everything, when I include this, it's a very deep, very, very profound message. Like, think of me as a friend right now, and I'm there with you right now, and I'm putting an arm around your shoulder, very, very quietly saying, Gregory, we know you got this, and this issue. That, and that issue. You got this wonderful thing, that wonderful thing, and that. So that's great. But right now, it's about healing. Heal yourself, setting everything aside as a secondary issue. And it might be something that you don't really want to do because you've got your own modalities for healing sort of already, you know. I'm like that myself, Gregory. I'm going to share just a little bit here. And I had my own modalities. Like, I used to have this much red wine a day, and maybe that much exercise, and this much random, entertainment like Netflix, and then certain types of food, certain quantities, certain amount of exercise and walk, and everything like that. And everything would kind of balance out, and that would be my way. And that was as good as I could get it. But eventually, I had to do more. And so right now, I live a life that's very streamlined, very stripped out. And a lot of the tools and mechanisms that I used to use for moderating, keeping myself going, those tools are now obsolete, redundant, and ineffective. And so I've had to find other ways for healing myself. So my feeling is that you're kind of in a similar situation now, where you've got to that point where existing methods are sort of becoming less and less effective, and like, what do we do now? So what's the situation? Let's have a look. The Hierophant. Okay, it looks to me, when I see this, it's just like deep down inside, you kind of want to write a new prescription for your life. A new set of, like a new rule book. Like, things are, let's just say, again, sorry, I keep harping on this. Let's say there's some kind of message coming into you, and you're feeling it in some way, form, body, mind, heart, and soul is telling you, something's got to change. So no one's going to change it for me. It doesn't matter how many tarot readings, astrology readings I get. It's just ultimately up to me. And what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I need to rewrite the Book of Gregory. If I've been living according to a certain codes, like business model, like a mission statement, like every company has to have a mission statement. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we do it. This is why we do it. And this is the desired outcome and the purpose and meaning of who we are and what we do. Company ABC. So it's the same thing with humans. A lot of humans don't operate that way, but you do, because you've put yourself under a lot of pressure, and you've had a certain either overt or less overt way of managing your life, where you had like a code, like a system. And it's getting redundant, and it's time to rewrite it. I want to maybe, I'm not saying just blow up everything and start from scratch. It's basically systematically getting rid of everything that's obsolete, replacing with something new that's more functional and serves you better, which is ultimately better for the world. In other words, heal thyself. Healer, heal thyself. Easier said than done. Okay. All right, what's the challenges here? Oh, it's mind over matter. Let's say spirit over ego. In other words, it's the raw energy of Gregory Ross here in your three-dimensional life, where it's just like, I'm Gregory, I know what works, I'm the boss of me, I'm the boss of my life, I've been around the block, I know what works, I know what doesn't work, leave me alone, I'm just fine. I'm just fine. I'm the boss of me, I'm the boss of my life. I'm awesome. And then spirit is coming in and say, oh, Gregory, I know it's tough. I'm here for you. We got to balance things out. And you don't want to, because it's just like, oh God, it's work. It's work. It means I have to do more spiritual evolution, homework, and healing on myself. It's actually easier to heal other people than heal myself. Oh God. All right. So that's the kind of challenge that I'm feeling here. And it often happens with people who are kind of highly evolved in their own way. You know, you're walking around living your life over there in Santa Fe, and not everybody notices the things that we talk about or see over here, but that's the real Gregory. And maybe other people who've been recipients of your healing and your kindness and compassion and generosity, they just accept it because that's who you are, what you're doing. But they don't know the full picture of Gregory. They're just glad that you came along. But now it's time for you to come along for you. And that's not so easy, because it's like fighting with yourself. How are we going to proceed? Hey, Bubba, you want some ice water? Hey, Bubba, we're on camera here. Let me give you... I'll do this. Let me give you the ice water here. Stay there, Bubba. Here. Come here. Bubba, look. Bubba, come here. Come here. Hold on, Gregory. It's ice water. All right. Sorry, little Bubba is sort of in a quandary at the moment. Come on, Bubba. Let me know what you need, all right? It's good. It's really, really good. It's very cold, delicious. Come on. All right, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to try to keep going. All right, hold on a second, Gregory, please. Just bear with me. Alrighty. Thanks, Gregory. Sorry about that. To do a little bit of a rescue now. Yes, King Bubba, he really is. Alright, so moving forward, we got the Two of Wands. So this to me feels like a spiritual type of reading, okay? It's funny, like with Jody, it was a very like spirit type reading. Very metaphysical, spiritual, very, very high frequency type reading rather than specific issues, okay? I love Bubba. All right, so with the two of Wands here going forward, to me it makes me feel this reading in its essence is actually quite a lot to digest. It's a tiny reading itself, but the implications are significant, okay? So with the Two of Wands, what it's telling me is every little tiny decision that you make in your life going forward, as you move forward, like day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, or going to bed and waking up, or activities during the day, doing this as opposed to that, doing that as opposed to this, it all requires decisions. And each decision leads to an outcome. Some tiny little decisions in one tiny moment of time can have huge outcomes later on. A very, very tough decision that takes a long time to make can be resolved and have a very simple, pristine, joyful outcome. Okay, so it's different ways that it works out, but what I'm sensing here with the Two of Wands is that you have to become aware that at the mental level, you're making tens, hundreds of decisions a day without knowing it. Like, oh, should I stay in bed another 10 minutes? Oh, should I go out and get an ice cream treat? Oh, should I do this or that? Or should I write off this client? Or should I just go get some exercise? Or whatever it is. Decision. Thoughts are things, okay? Thoughts represent the process and the phenomenon of sensory input, digestion, process, coming out and making decisions in order to move on with life. And so with the Two of Wands here, it makes me feel like each decision is critical. You have to be aware of the profound implications of each decision. I know this is sounding like really extreme and kind of ridiculous. I'll try to convey what I mean. It's like, trying to think of an example in my own life. Okay, I was in a very, very, very hyper-stressed, very, very chaotic, dangerous situation with my health, knowing that I was on a precipice. And I realized, it's probably better if I just die at this point, so let's just get it over with. And I was praying, God, please bring me to death. Please bring death to me now. And I just kept doing that. I was praying for death. And at the last minute I thought, you know what, let's change that. Let's change. Show me death. Show me an example so that I can see very clearly whether I actually want death or not. Despite my feelings and emotions wanting death. I can't take it anymore. And so I got off the bus, and I was doing this meditation prayer thing on the bus. I got off the bus, went to the crosswalk, looked left, looked right, looked left, looked right again, started to go across the crosswalk. I got 2/3 of the way across. I started to hear these screaming tires and brakes. And then I just kept going. I was I suddenly went into this, I vaporized. I felt like I was vaporizing into the ether. And I just kept walking because it felt like I was going to get run over. And I thought, oh my God, it really worked. I'm going to die. I'm going to get run over. The car's trying to stop. I didn't even bother to try to look to see what's going on. I just heard the sound of cars braking very, very hard. And then I just kept walking, and I got onto the curb at the other side. And everything went into extreme hyper slow motion. And I actually did turn around, and I caught what was actually happening. What was happening was that somebody tried to follow me across the crosswalk to catch up with my energy, thinking well, if there's two people crossing, it's probably safer. And so I didn't know that there was anybody behind me. But when I turned around, everything happened in slow motion. I saw this guy get hit by a large van. Bam! I saw him fly through the air, land on the ground, just like in a slow motion movie. And there he was, lying on the ground. And I was standing there on the curb, perfectly alive, realizing, that could have been me. And I just stared. I was numb, and I was stunned, and I just stared. And of course traffic stopped, and there was all sorts of mayhem, and then people jumping out of cars, see what happens. I just stood there, and I watched, and I thought, you know what, I understand the message. I'm just going to go home. That's it. Thank you, dear Lord, my dear protector, my guardian angels, for answering my prayer so precisely. Okay? So that's the sort of energy that I'm trying to describe here. Let me go back. If you think of your decisions and your thoughts, when you take it to the highest level, it's a form of prayer. So what I'm sensing with the Two of Wands going forward is be very, very aware of the thoughts that you're thinking. Thoughts are things, okay? And thoughts have consequences. Thoughts are like energy fields radiating out of your brain. And they can radiate in very random ways, uncontrolled ways, where you don't own the energy of your thoughts. This radiating is saying you have to be more acutely aware than ever before that you're creating your own reality, one tiny decision at a time, moment by moment, tick, 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 tock, in a very Saturn, three-dimensional, worldly way. In a worldly way, moment by moment, we're creating our reality, decision by decision. But this is a wake-up call message that it's happening on a scale and a depth that you need to understand going forward, because it will have consequences. If you make unhealthy decisions, you'll have unhealthy outcomes. You make healthy decisions, you'll have healthy outcomes. In other words, creating your own reality, creating your own future. Thoughts are things. Hello, Serenella. Gregory, I hope that little mini reading helps you. We're going to move on now. I'm going to pull up the cards. I'm going to shuffle up and we're going to read for Karen. And she'll catch up with it and watch later. All right, here we go. Thank you, Gregory. Karen, you are up. I know you're not here. I know you have to go. You've got important business. But you will get your reading, and here it comes. Let's shuffle it all up. All right, folks. So Karen has been here many times before as well. Well, okay, thanks, TL. Right on. Pray for me as I make this journey. Let's all pray for Gregory as you make this journey. It's a beautiful thing, okay? There you go. That's the power of community. That's the power of the campfire. A circular campfire. Karen, so folks, Karen is an entrepreneur, an artist. She's over here in New Zealand. And she's part of the arts community of New Zealand. She's very, very active in the New Zealand arts community. Let's see if I can show you New Zealand right over there. There you go. There's beautiful New Zealand. And it's basically, I guess you could say she's a self-made person. New Zealand, what I learned over there, I have friends there. What I learned is there's this thing in New Zealand, I think they call it tall poppy syndrome. New Zealanders, in my experience, my observation, sorry, let me just be polite here. In my journeys to New Zealand and back, what I noticed was this very, very humble kind of serenity across the whole country. The country was populated about 600 years ago by what's called Maori people today. They're kind of like a Pacific Islander genetic heritage. And then along a couple hundred years later, a new strain of people arrived, mostly Scottish, Irish, British, Wales, so I think some Nordics. And they brought with them very classic Scottish type culture, very, very much about common sense, the ability to survive tough conditions, and about strong community, strong family, making do with nothing, starting from scratch and making things good. And so New Zealand, I went to a graveyard there with one of my friends. And what you notice is the traditional European oldie worldy graveyards that have grass and trees and gravestones. The earliest ones that you will find go back to about the 1830s. That's about it. I'm sure there's more before that, but as far as I recall, it was the early 1800s. And so that's a very short history of population. And it was a very small population, but it expanded. And now today New Zealand has about 5 million people. And they have their issues. Of course, there's the Maori and there's the traditional New Zealander types. And there's integration. A lot of the Maori are deeply integrated into like Scottish culture, Protestant, Quaker type culture that you see in New Zealand. But it's two parallel cultures that happen simultaneously. And the Maori culture is represented in politics, in government, just like the rest of the New Zealanders. New Zealanders are very independently minded, very artisanal minded, handmade this, handmade that, home-brewed beers, clothing, furniture, art, music, housing, everything. Very innovative. Their own manufacturing. Of course, China kind of screwed it up, but New Zealand is still very pristine in so many ways, and I hope they stay that way. I do miss it, but one of the things I noticed about the New Zealand culture is very different from Australia. Australia people tend to be very bold and out there. And New Zealanders, in contrast, tend to be, in my observation, tend to be very mellow, much more contained, to the point where it's almost an issue. And where New Zealanders, they tend to want everything to be stable. And so when you get an upstart, a rebel, a nutcase, somebody who's above and beyond and outside the status quo, there can be a lot of pressure from the status quo to pull you back in. It's called the tall poppy syndrome. Let's say there's a massive field of poppies, bright red, beautiful poppies, and then one of them grows really tall and beautiful, and it stands out and everybody notices it. Like, well, the rest of the poppies can't have it. So they try and demean the other one. Like, you're not allowed to be so bold or so open or so opinionated or so different or so radically outside the comfort zone. And so there's a bit of a shaming process that goes into it. And once the tall poppy has been diminished, then everything goes back to status quo. And, of course, in America, it's very different. In America, the culture is to help the tall poppy to flourish, because that's where we get all our innovation and advancements in societies from people who are different. Okay? Yes, Karen is a basket weaver. That's just one of her arts. But I just wanted to share a little bit about New Zealand. And Karen is one of those upstarts. She is one of those upstarts. She's not shy, and she's very determined to be who she is in the New Zealand art community. That's how it is. All right, Karen, let's have a look. What do we got going here? All right, kind of what kind of messages do we have here for Karen tonight or tomorrow? It's actually Monday for Karen. Here we go. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. And let's look at external influences. We have here the star. Okay. So my feeling when I see the star here is that someone's got to do it. Somebody somewhere has to be the symbol of hope for others in the community. Okay? I know, Karen, because we've worked together before, that because you're very true to yourself and you are determined to continue to be true to yourself, you can attract, let's say, the response of the tall poppy syndrome. In other words, external pressure that wants to force you to comply with the status quo. And then there's you, Karen, basically like, excuse me? What? I'm an artist. I'm an entrepreneur. I am who I am. I do what I do. I feel what I feel. I share what I share. And someone's got to do it. I think this is a very loud message that you have to continue. Even if you're, let's say, facing resistance or obstacles, because like it or not, Karen, despite the New Zealand tall poppy syndrome, someone has to, let's say, symbolize, let's say, the rebel, the renegade, the innovator, the purist, the one who signifies like, wow, if Karen can do it, then maybe we can do it. Someone has to play that role, and that's you, Karen. You have to play the role of bringing hope and possibilities, optimism, and spiritual guidance. And the way you do that is living by example. Okay, so you're already doing that, but it makes me feel like the pressure is on you to do it to an even greater extent, maybe above and beyond what you're used to doing already, which could, of course, attract more pressure against you from the status quo. All right, so that's the background that I'm setting here, but someone's got to do it. Maybe you're a bit of a rebel. All right, let's have a look. What's the situation? Okay, so we got the Three of Wands here. What this is telling me is that you've already planted seeds in this direction long ago. You already have like an anchor system. You have your ways of being, your ways of doing things. And you already, you know the process, you know how it works. You plant seeds, you nurture with the right ingredients, and then you harvest and you eventually see the fruits of your labor. So that would be here, the Three of Wands. And my feeling is right now, because you've already lived the role of being the bringer of light, the symbol of hope. You've already done that. On the other hand, you have to continue, and you know that's part of it. And you're starting to see the fruits of your labor. You're starting to see actual, let's just say, recognition and a realization that you're not going to back down. The seeds are already planted. Results are starting to show here and there. And that's good enough. That's your role. That's your duty. And then not only that, with the Three of Wands, because it's coming into fruition, it's like a message of destiny, and you can look at yourself in your life, in your world, in a very modest, quiet, New Zealand kind of way. You can pat yourself on your shoulder and say, well, I told you so. Yep, yes, I am that awesome. Yep, that's me. I did that. And guess what? I'm going to keep doing it. No one else can be me. I have to live by example. Someone's got to do this. Someone has to be this. I'm just doing it. It's my day job. Whatever, in whatever aspect. Maybe it's the arts, family, neighborhood, community, whatever it is. Living by example, shining your light. Anyway, what are the challenges here? Okay, so I got the Magician. It might be that because of what's happening in your own spiritual journey, your own evolution in your own life, where you're at kind of a crossroads, where you're starting to see results, maybe appreciation, maybe business is becoming more defined for you in ways that are like, I'm really kind of getting into the zone now. And that presents problems of its own, where you reach a plateau, you kind of reach like you've done what you had to do. You've done it, you prove it, it's happening, it's really, really happening. And then there's this big question of what now? Wow. Now that I have grown from here to here, from here to here, here to here, meeting resistance of all kinds along the way, I've still got this. Bubba, I'll be right there. Come here, Bubba. Come here. Come here, Bubba. Bubba, come on, come on, come on, come here. Come here. Come on, Bubba. I got you, Bubba. Karen, don't worry. I got your reading sorted. Stay here, Bubba. Everything's fine. I'm just finishing the last reading, okay? We're going to have food, cuddles, ice water, everything, alright? So, okay. Head over there, please, Bubba. Because I just got to finish with the last card, alright? Let's just shuffle this over here. I know. Okay, just stay there, Bubba. Just stay there. It's alright, Bubba. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm not ignoring you or anything. I'm just doing what we do. You're going to have a nice bowl of food in just a minute, okay? All right, Karen. So moving forward, it's a little bit of a problem. It's like, what now? What now and now? What am I supposed to do with my artistry, my skills? Like, how am I going to format myself for the so-called future? Because as an artisan in the classic New Zealand sense, you have all those hallmarks already. But it makes me feel like you're looking at a new business, a new form of business, taking it to a next level some way, somehow. But how exactly is that going to happen? What's that going to look like? How are you going to do it? And we don't know that yet. It's still a mystery. There's all sorts of options opening up for you, okay? Let's have a look going forward. Alright, so we got the Knight of Swords here. Makes me feel like you're going to have to make some very bold decisions, make some very bold moves, and trust your gut, trust your instincts that you're going to be right. In other words, just do it. Okay, trust the magic, trust that you've already got history, background, proven ways of being and doing, and you've got everything it takes to do it, but it's about execution. And the only way you will know how to do that is just by Bubba, come here a second. Come here. I'm gonna have to get in some new food. I'm gonna get you some new food. Okay, I'm just gonna finish up the reading over here, Karen, because while I got Bubba. Okay. So Karen, with the Knight of Swords, I don't know if you saw the movie. I saw it. It was called Top Gun Maverick. And there's this particular scene where Tom Cruise, he's leading these fighter jets, these ace pilots. And of course, Tom Cruise is the ace pilot who's teaching all the other pilots to be ace pilots. And they're making mistakes, and things go bad and things go okay. But ultimately, Tom basically kind of yells out to one of the students where things are very, very dangerous in some of their training flights, in their missions. And he kind of screams it out and yells it out. Stop thinking, just do it. Oh, okay. And that's what I think is happening here with the Knight of Swords. So in other words, get on with the conversations, the decision making, the strategizing, all the thinking about whatever's going to happen, what the future looks like, how you're going to do it, the details, the nuances, what comes next, what's that going to look like, plan it out. And eventually at some point you got to go, okay, I've talked enough, I've thought about things enough, I've had enough meetings, phone calls, and so we just got to frickin' do it. So you just get out there and frickin' do it. And don't worry about what anyone else says. Okay? Oh, little Bubba. I'm so glad you came to visit. Little Bubba is right here. Sometimes he gets really upset when he doesn't understand things that are going on. He loves to be at the center of attention, and sometimes he doesn't understand it when I'm talking into these microphones and these cameras and everything. It's like, who are you talking to? Who out there could possibly be more important than me? It doesn't make any sense, and it gets very upset. Sometimes he doesn't care. But right now, he's at the very epicenter of what we do here. And all of a sudden, he's become extremely calm and happy. Okay? So I am going to make a very, very, very quick exit. All right? Karen, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for being here, your kindness and your generosity. Maybe we'll do this again next Sunday. For all the people who didn't get a reading, you can check in with me privately. We can follow up from there. Go to TarotLumination.com and all that. All right. Good night, folks. I'm holding on to Bubba, by the way, so that's why I'm not waving good night. Take care. Be loving. Be loved.